This was a new home build here in Haddonfield, New Jersey. And as a custom residential architect who focuses mostly on contemporary and modern architecture, as well as some restoration and renovation work on more historic homes, this was an exciting project because it really it links the two. It's a more transitional home which takes some cues from the past, but it is a contemporary home that supports a contemporary lifestyle. So um, the front elevation was generated. We first started out as thinking of it as a four square, with the entry off to the side, and the organization kind of as a dining, living, kitchen space, um, typical of kind of a four square. And as we started to add the client's program of needed spaces and quality of space to the project, we started to take on these outcroppings, which then actually pushes it a little bit to a farmhouse appeal, look. So with the wraparound porch, hints of Victorian, um, floor to ceiling double hung windows, which can be opened up, very kind of typical of what you see in the South in New Orleans and Charleston. Um, and there are a few houses in Haddonfield also that have that feature. So a more contemporary feel to a pretty traditionally massed house, and uh, really generated by the community and the client's needs. The massing of the home we maintained in order to try to stick with the character of the neighborhood. So, this facade coming out and meeting this facade would overpower in massing the neighborhood. So, this scale of this front facade um, was important to maintain, as well as a defined front entry, which is pretty typical here in the traditional areas of Haddonfield. So this is when you come down the driveway. Haddonfield really promotes detached garages. Um, this client wanted a detached garage with an outdoor living space connected. And we talked about organizing this outdoor space or outdoor structure to surround an outdoor space and provide privacy from neighboring homes. Um, Also, the drive, one of the client's desires was that they have a basketball hoop, and that the area at the end of the driveway was large enough to contain a 3 point um, line that the kids could practice hitting 3 pointers, that it wasn't just for a foul shot. Um, so that actually worked out really well. And it's interesting how little things like that can really affect the design and layout of a house. And here's a case where it did that. Um, as you can see, this is the court, and the entry, back entry slash mudroom space is in this location. Family room, super well lit, lots of light, able to have this kind of glass because of its privacy offered by the outdoor structure, or the accessory structure, which then surrounds this outdoor terrace slash court area. Um, so that's what generated the backside. So now we're in that court area, and you can see the outdoor living space um, and its connection to the house. And it's just this delightful court space with great plants and a little more dense feel to it compared to the traditional suburban, backyard. Um, there is adequate space for playing and kids in this yard. It is a large property for Haddonfield, New Jersey, and so there is area back behind the living room here to kick a ball and play. So here we see the inside of that living space that's completely open to the outdoors. And as a contemporary modern architect, looking to style things more as a transitional style or inspired by a traditional aesthetic, this space I think works really well. The idea that the chimney and the fireplace is a mass, and these openings next to it go floor to ceiling, offering air and circulation and light around that without having headers and squared off spaces. This allows this fireplace mass to soar. And then in an opening like this, we really have more of a traditional feel where this would typically have windows and transoms, and that would be an enclosed space. You'll see that when we look at the back of the house. Back in the yard, you can see there's plenty of space for kids to play. This is looking from the outdoor living space back at the house. You can see what I was saying about this wall here. It's a glass wall with transoms and doors, and it's recalling the same organization of the opening as we have in this outdoor living space. We have the grill and a cooking area off to the side. And this terrace is plants, privacy, a table, and when in group gatherings and things, they put chairs and, things out in here. This is a pea gravel terrace. It is designed to be flush all the way through, and that it works as part of the interior as well as the exterior. The indoor-outdoor connection in this house is really strong, and the layering of pieces where we have the outdoor living space, the terrace, the family room, and then the kitchen. And you'll see that better in some pictures coming up. But the reason that this is not paved is due to requirements for impervious coverage. And so this pea gravel is designed to allow rainwater to go through and recharge the aquifer. Here you can see, looking back through the gate to the side entry and the drive, you can see how the wall of the two-car garage provides privacy for this area, and you can see how that was used as a place to put pots and things to really make this outdoor terrace area really kind of live and be active and vibrant and color during certain parts of the year. And it really just softens the wall. But the urban space that's created here within a suburban neighborhood is just, I think, is really a successful approach to how to create outdoor living spaces in the New Jersey area without limiting or reducing privacy, or and that goes both ways. That goes from looking, having the neighbors view everything you're doing in your yard, and also you viewing what's going on in your neighbor's yard. So it really works both ways as far as being a screen for activity in the yard. Here's a good example of that layering that I was talking about, where we have, behind us, we have outdoor living space. Here we have the dining space and the terrace. And then we have the family room space, and then the kitchen behind. Same thing here. We have the outdoor cooking, and the family room space. And peeking around the corner here, you see this uh, addition, what appears to addition. This house is a new build. Part of our idea was that the home looked as if it was there for a long time and added to in order to meet the requirements of a more contemporary lifestyle as time changed. So this is added kind of as a shed addition to the side of this house, and you'll see that this window here, and the windows along the side of the house provide for a staircase that goes down around this fireplace here, um, down to the lower level / basement. Um, this house was pretty much, I think, the first attempt that we really explored the idea of connecting the basement area with the main living space by not having a basement door and having that just go down into the basement area, which in this case was a pool room, that the client wanted connected, was looking for space on the first floor to put it. But as the house began to spread, we were able to convince them that the connection through an open staircase would provide the connection and the separation that would be best for the layout of this house. Um, You'll see more of that when we go to the interior. Here we start to see the backyard area. You can see the massing on the house, the main structure, the main mass. This is that shed structure off the side of the main home here, that was intended to feel like an addition over time. And you can see the fireplace coming through. And so basically the staircase comes down and then goes down into the lower level / basement. Some windows on the side of the house here go down past the floor level into the basement area using an area well around the window. The terrace here, the pea gravel terrace, was defined architecturally with this retaining wall. The intention was that it felt as much as part of the architecture as it did as part of the landscape, and then bringing landscape in through a potted plant approach. And as that starts to go into the landscape becomes more natural. You can see the side of the outdoor living space here. This is from the trampoline that we saw in the backyard. And you can just see the massing and the pieces develop a complexity and articulation to this house that really makes it just an interesting home that really works well in the neighborhood. The front, if you remember, we tried to create pretty much a pretty simple facade. And in the back, we allowed it to become more complex, made up of pieces. The connection of this outdoor living space to the yard, the 2-car garage. It all works together in order to really be a delightful space that really ticked the boxes of all the requirements for the client and his family and kids. So plenty of adult things to do in this design, and plenty of children's space in order to play and just have kind of a free-spirited lifestyle. So next we'll go into the interior and go through how some of these spaces connect and how that reinforces what we've done.